Welcome to today's Just Add Social podcast, and the topic is how to stay out of social media jail. It is that time again, time for another Just Add Social podcast. Our resident social media expert is Clive Roach, and he is once again the host for this episode.
Thank you for that introduction there, Aria. And today we're going to be talking about the social media jail, which is where people go to when they overpromise on their social media results and campaign outcomes.
Now this topic I am interested in because you came up with the concept of the social media jail over 10 years ago, right?
Yes, indeed. It was 10 years ago that I came up with this concept. And the reason why I came up with this concept, because at that time there were a lot of people who were getting into social media from a sales point of view in my company, and they were very over enthusiastic. So they would create accounts and create fake accounts, and they would do dodgy things, and people thought it was okay on some rare occasions to actually buy fake followers and things like that. A lot of the ethics hadn't come into it very well, and it was seen as the new shiny toy. So I came up with this concept of social media jail, where if these people were caught, and my role did involve catching some people. So my thought was, if they got caught, then they would have to go to social media jail and try and explain why they did it. And of course, we did have people who did try and explain what they did, but that's why I created this concept. And 10 or so years ago, I came up with a blog on my old blogging platform, actually, when I was in Tumblr. And now I have issued a new version of it with all today's modern techniques and tools all updated into the blog. And it's still called Social Media Jail, so what did you promise? But it's kind of new. But first of all, let's go through the Social Savvy score, which is the score that we have for this podcast, which defines the role of experience or seniority needed to really grasp and take away the insights from the podcast. Okay, Aria, please tell us what the score is.
Savvy social scale 1 to 10. This is easily level 3.
Great, so it is level 3, as she said, and that means you'll be able to really understand and grasp and take away key insights when you're level 3, which means that you are at the basic level, comfortable with fundamental skills of social media marketing. Great, so let's start on the social media jail with the first stage. So let's say we now have this person who has cheated quite a bit on different things, and now we're going to go through the arrest process where the person has been arrested by the social media police. Wonderful. And as you can hear, they've just pulled up outside. They're not going to come in. So now we're going to go through the arrest.
A person was arrested by the social media law enforcement officer who had a warrant for the arrest due to probable cause of a social media campaign crime.
We have a court official in the studio with us. I'm not quite sure how he actually got in.
Never mind about that. Please proceed.
Okay, thank you. We will proceed. So we shall look at the arrest. So in this scenario, a person was arrested by the social media law enforcement officer who had a warrant for the arrest due to probable cause of a social media campaign crime. And this is what the arrested person said, which I remember hearing so much years ago in a way. I told my manager he'd get great results, and that's exactly what he got. I obtained 5,000 bot followers on X, 10,000 fake Instagram likes, and 50 TikTok saves. Sounds great results to me. And that was typical of the blasé way some people used to talk about when they did something which they thought was perfectly fine, buying followers. What else are you supposed to do? That's what I kind of heard a lot at the time. So the arresting officer noted the defendant was clearly suffering from a severe case of vanity-metric delusion, and we could now pass on to the next stage.
Ready to start the preliminary hearing. Everyone take your seats.
Thank you once again. You can see Arya's nodding, so you can say hello to her.
Hello, Arya.
Hello.
Nice to meet you. I heard so much about you.
Aw, nice to meet you too, whoever you are.
Have you two finished now?
Please proceed.
Thank you very much. I can finally proceed. Thank you. Right, so now we're going to talk about the preliminary hearing. So the social media judge heard the evidence and testimony from the witnesses called by the prosecuting attorney and the defendant's attorney. So the defendant pleaded to the judge, and this is what the defendant said. I launched branded accounts on my own, and I bought company domains. I used free AI to make my campaign report and launched accounts days before go live. Who needs digital support teams, legal or IT? It was so easy to create the stack. Why all the fuss about governance and consent modes and data risks and security? Everyone keeps talking about it. So let's break that down, shall we? Let's look at what he was talking about. So at the time I devised this social media channel, I had that happen a lot. People go out and just open an account, copy the company logo and put it on. And in those days, we never had a cyber crime team like we do now, and people surfing the dark web and trying to find all these duplicates and impersonations. In those days, you could just do it, put it up, and people actually thought that in those days, like a Twitter account, you just created it for an event. Who remembers those days when people just created an account for an event and that was it? Created another account the next year? Well, I had to live through all of that. So I was kind of like the social media police, having to stop people from doing that. So this was a common appearance. I even had one funny example where the salesman created a name of a woman and opened the account in the name of this woman and pretended to be the woman, represented the company, and he got found out because the sales manager kind of realized this must be him, my person who works for me, and he got found out. That was the funniest, one of the funniest examples I recall from those days.
Haha, I can just imagine what you described.
Yes, and I'm not joking, Arya. That really happened with the male salesperson pretending to be a female and creating the account. So yeah, you can just imagine it, right? It happened. And of course, now bringing it up to date, you've got people now using free AI. So the public AI now, most companies have a way to make sure that the people who work for them do not put company secrets into AI tools, public AI tools, or confidential information. But sometimes people do when they get home. Right, I'm just going to make my report with all my stats figures in AI, and it will draw me a nice Excel or make a nice table. So these things are things that companies are struggling with right now. And of course, the other thing that he mentioned was going live only a few days before, because who cares? It's going to be shut down afterwards. And of course, not seeing the need to check with legal or IT or do any risk assessment and things like that for going into new areas. So this was the mood where I first devised this concept, because it was quite common. So let's go back to the story. So upon hearing this, the judge determined that there was enough evidence to believe the defendant was probably committed the crime, and the defendant was held for trial in the Superior Social Media Court, and an arraignment date was set.
Everybody settled down. Now is the time for the arraignment. Please, everyone, shh.
Thank you, sir. At the arraignment, the defendant entered a plea of not guilty so the judge set a trial date. The defendant screamed loudly in court, "I am not the only one doing this, you know. There are hundreds of us out there. Social is the in thing and it has no link to business outcomes. It's a numbers game. I could have joined engagement pods, run AI, comment bots. How about that, huh?" So this outburst. Breaking it down to why I included something like this was because there was a lot of, and hopefully not so much now, there was a lot of activity around, well, it has no link to business outcomes. It has no link to what's important for the company. And that's exactly what I do. I start from that particular position. What is the business plan? What is the business strategy? And then I create a social media strategy from that. But when I came up with this whole concept, people had no link to business outcomes at all. It's just something to do for an event. And I hope, and maybe you can tell me in the comments or give me feedback if you still encounter that, because that's just crazy, right? And of course, you've got things like engagement pods where people come together in a private group or something like that and say, when you create a post, I'll like it and you can do the same for me. And the algorithms and things like that can actually decipher when there's some odd stuff going on. It's not worth it. Try and look for genuine engagement opportunities. And of course, you will see lots of bots and AI comment bots. They're all over the place. Sometimes it's kind of really weird to go into your feed and see comments from bots. They're bots. When they go and pick a comment, a post you did or a comment years ago, and they keep on commenting on it and things like that. It's crazy. But in this particular scenario, let's go back to the scenario. We're now moving on to the trial. A trial date has been set, so now we can go to that trial stage.
Be upstanding. We are starting the trial. The prosecuting attorney is the social media Jedi.
And he made the opening statement, and this is what he said. "You set wild expectations and ignored where social fits in the revenue engine. You did capture leads from X and LinkedIn and short form video. So why not report cost per qualified lead and pipeline stats? You upgraded your whole web network to Google Analytics, latest version, which right now is GA4, yet still use last click thinking. So nothing about the attribution to really break down what's happening. With server-side tagging, UTMs, of course, CRM integration, you could have used data-driven attribution, modeled conversions, and even simple media mix modeling to include social properly in the campaign." So the trial didn't really start really well for this person.
Now the verdict time, Clive. What do you think it will be?
Well, I'm not too sure what the verdict is.
Shh, everyone. Now is the time for the verdict. Have you all agreed as a jury?
Yes, we have all agreed.
What is your decision?
We find the defendant guilty of all charges.
Guilty of all charges. The sentencing was likely to include a stay in the famous social media jail, where the motto is, "There is always room for one more." Extra to-do items would most likely include things like drafting an ethical AI and social policy. Yes, get him writing that. Writing how to kill vanity metrics and to move on to the next levels. And of course, how to align KPIs to real business outcomes. Great, and that is the social media jail process. And now, Aria, we can move to the key takeaway, and you can lead me into that.
Counting you in. Ready? On my mark. 3, 2, 1.
Thanks, Aria. Today we have a very simple key takeaway message. Have you been in social media jail yet? I'm not meaning the physical one. Did you overpromise on what the results would be from your social media activities and campaigns? Are you trying to gain leads and insights with your social media efforts? Are you looking beyond just the basics of clicks and likes? And I hope that you are. And if the answer is no, remember that in social media jail, the motto is there is always room for one more. And just before we finish, just a reminder that if you're looking to elevate your marketing and communication strategies, just adding social can be the game changer. Whether you're running an in-person event, launching a new product, or creating an online campaign, integrating social platforms lets you extend your message, engaging your audience directly, and building lasting relationships. Thank you very much for listening. We're going to say goodbye now. This person is going to leave. Who's sitting here, the court official. I have no idea what his name is.
Yes, we have enjoyed being a part of your podcast. So goodbye from the court. Maybe we see you in the dock next time.
Thank you. And Aria?
See you all next time. Bye.
It's a goodbye from me.